Chief Minister said that his ambition was to make Tamil Nadu the global capital for human talent. Not the Indian, not the Asian, but the global capital. Now, if we didn't have so many institutions and we didn't have 52% roughly gross enrollment, we would say it's just that we don't have infrastructure, we don't have people who are able to go to college or the means. When you have everybody going and still we are not reaching full employment, 60% of ICT Academy's efforts should be directed within Tamil Nadu as its primary mandate. And we should do more and more with institutions across all cities, towns. So I'm happy to say that at least in the initial periods, we are starting to see big difference. Last year in Chennai, the Class A office space rental went up from the usual 5 million square feet. I had gone and inaugurated 2 or 3 AI-based entities, Chennai platform.
கோவை அவினாசி சாலையில் உள்ள தனியார் ஹோட்டலில் ICT அகாடமியின் 57வது பதிப்பான பிரிட்ஜ் மாநாடு நடைபெற்றது. தமிழ்நாடு தி குளோபல் ஸ்கில் கேபிட்டல் என்ற கருப்பொருளில் நடைபெற்ற இம்மாநாட்டின் சிறப்பு விருந்தினராக தகவல் தொழில்நுட்பம் மற்றும் டிஜிட்டல் சேவைகள் துறை அமைச்சர் பழனிவேல் தியாகராஜன் கலந்து கொண்டார். மாநாட்டில் தகவல் தொழில்நுட்பம் மற்றும் டிஜிட்டல் சேவைகள் துறை கூடுதல் தலைமைச் செயலாளர் குமார் ஜெயந்த், தமிழ்நாடு எலக்ட்ரானிக்ஸ் கார்ப்பரேஷன் நிர்வாக இயக்குநர் கண்ணன், CII தமிழ்நாடு மாநில கவுன்சில் தலைவர் ஸ்ரீவத்ஸ்ராம், பகவான் சைபர் டெக் நிறுவனத்தின் தலைமை நிர்வாக அதிகாரி VM முரளிதரன் ஆகியோரும் சிறப்பு விருந்தினர்களாக பங்கேற்றனர். திறன் மேம்பாடு மற்றும் சிறந்து விளங்கும் பணியாளர்களின் உலகளாவிய மையமாக தமிழ்நாட்டை மாற்றுவதற்கான பாடத்திட்டத்தை பட்டியலிடும் நோக்கத்துடன் இந்த மெகா தொழில் நிறுவன தொடர்பு நிகழ்வு நடந்தது. கொள்கை வகுப்பாளர்கள், தொழில்துறை தலைவர்கள் மற்றும் கல்வியாளர்களின் ஒருங்கிணைப்பாக இந்த மாநாடு அமைந்தது. பல்வேறு நிறுவனங்கள் தங்களுக்குள் நுண்ணறிவுகளை பகிர்ந்து கொள்வதற்கும் புதிய ஒத்துழைப்புகளை உருவாக்குவதற்கும் இம்மாநாடு வழிவகுத்தது. மாநாட்டில் சிறப்புரையாற்றிய அமைச்சர் பழனிவேல் தியாகராஜன்,
Members of the ICT Academy team that pulled this together, as well as of the IT department, the eminent speakers who are here to enlighten all the delegates throughout the day, the 650 people who have progressively decided to register here. Thank you all for your attendance and for this opportunity to speak to you. I'm very happy to be in Coimbatore. As many have pointed out, it is the hub of economic activity, of education, of innovation. I have both personal and professional reasons to be here. I'm frequently here. In fact, sometimes they used to joke, asking whether my constituency is Madurai or Coimbatore, because I come so often to Coimbatore. But I think I'm back again in a couple of weeks for a PSG Trust annual day. So, partly for personal reasons, partly because it's such an important part of our economy, both in my old role in finance and in my current role in technology. I come here a lot. This conference is very special to us. But I want to give you a little bit of background. The theme of this conference actually echoes our Chief Minister's statement back in 2021 when we established the Economic Advisory Council for the state of Tamil Nadu. In the maiden address to that council, the Chief Minister said that his ambition was to make Tamil Nadu the global capital for human talent. Not the Indian, not the Asian, but the global capital. I think if you read into that, what he was already implying is that our Tamil diaspora is significantly impactful in almost every sector all over the world already. And the sheer scale of our population, almost 8 crore people, plus the high enrollment ratios that we have, ought to make us the premier source of human capital. But if you look at where we are today, there are many positives we can talk about our gross enrollment ratio, about our economic platform, about our inclusion, about our national ranking. Sri Vatsram brought it up in many colleges, etc. Now, if we didn't have so many institutions and we didn't have 52% roughly gross enrollment, we would say it's just that we don't have infrastructure, we don't have people who are able to go to college or the means. But when you have everybody going and still we are not reaching full employment, then there are some structural issues. This is a problem that is not new to me. I had the great luxury, though on the one hand, with people like the TVS family or with many in Coimbatore, or even with the family of Mike Muralidharan, though I can celebrate many generations of friendship. In fact, I spent most of my career overseas in economies and markets which were much more efficient in terms of labor placement. And so, during my maiden speech in the Assembly in 2016, when I was an opposition member, at that point I suggested several steps to be taken to improve the ratio of placement, given that we already had high levels of education or enrollment. It's not often that one gets to work on a problem that one has actually understood and defined. So in that sense, I'm very grateful for the rare opportunity to be part of the solution as the Minister for IT, the department in which the ICT Academy runs. Now you may all know that the ICT Academy, Kovai was the first CEO, started 2008, I think, was not the only one of its kind. It had partial Government of India support. Many states were given the opportunity to start something similar. Ours has been spectacularly successful in the sense that I think of all the ICT academies that are government sponsored or supported. On the one hand, we're very happy as a department, as the home of the ICT Academy of Tamil Nadu, that we do this for the country. At the end, we are one country. We have to raise the average productivity of all workers for the country to benefit. At some other sense, I have been very clear that 60% of ICT Academy's efforts should be directed within Tamil Nadu as its primary mandate, and we should do more and more with institutions across all cities, towns, wherever we can, to bridge this gap between the skills that recruiters and the economy is looking for and the curriculum and the training, extracurricular training that is being provided in the educational institutions. We're running quite late and it's almost tea time, so I won't speak for very long, but I'll just wind up with a few thoughts. One, we are at an inflection point as far as the information technology and related services industry is concerned. Though some may argue that there's no such thing as true artificial intelligence, what we call G, general intelligence. The quality of the algorithms, and much more so the ability to store and process almost infinite amounts of data, and the access to computing capacity on demand, as opposed to having to invest hundreds of millions of dollars each because of the cloud model. We in Tamil Nadu, in many ways, have been punching below our weight for various reasons, some structural, some financial, some more societal. But as the Chief Minister said during our UMagine conference earlier this year in Chennai, one of the reasons he asked me to come to this portfolio was to bring the kinds of changes that I had brought when I had been in finance for a couple of years. So I'm happy to say that at least in the initial periods, we are starting to see big difference. Last year in Chennai, the Class A office space rental went up from the usual 5 million square feet to 11 million square feet. We have seen many more indicators of new interests, new GCCs, new IT platforms, new ITES platforms. I have gone and inaugurated 2 or 3 AI-based entities, Chennai platforms, including Unifor, including Annalise. So I think we are in a very exciting time. In the case of ICT, we used to get 30 to 40 crores worth of new donations and engagement contracts a year. I would say this year we're on track for 100 crore. Probably we are going to. Governments have core responsibilities. The history of our country, in fact, the history of democracy suggests that most governments cannot do everything alone. We need significant partnership with the private. Some of it will be quasi-government entities, some of it will be dedicated public sector enterprises. Like a few years ago, I addressed a big Rotary conference and I made the same point, that there is a significant role for NGOs to do granular execution and ensure quality outcomes that sometimes is hard for the government to do. So with those thoughts, I'd like to conclude by wishing all of you a very productive and enlightening day. All of you in this room are a vital part of our Chief Minister's vision, not just of the scale or size of the economy, but of the increasing employability, employment, and personal progress of our youth and their families. So I thank you for your work and I wish you a good future. Thank you very much.